I don't know why more successful business owners don't share these behind the scenes things, because while you're right, it doesn't matter exactly what words I use. What I think does matter, and why I wanted to share it here today, is the beliefs that I had and the thoughts that I was thinking when I wrote this letter.
Welcome to Sincerely Future You, a podcast that helps ambitious women like you make decisions today with the future you in mind.
Have you ever felt like things are good, but they could be great? Like, you know that there's just maybe some sliding doors bigger version of your life that you wish you could just pop into for a quick sec. Whether it's your personal or your business life, going from a good life or a good business to a great one is actually harder than just setting goals. Today, I'm sharing my tried and true strategies from going from good to great, including a never before shared email that I used to land 2 dream speaker panel spots. We are all deserving of greatness. So let's dive in and grow from good to great together. Thank you, as always, to our reviewer of the week. If you guys don't know, we have a goal of 60 podcast reviews by the end of this month. And it's just been so fun hearing from you guys, all of you guys that are out there and you've been listening to the show, but finally I get to hear back from you. It's been really fun. I love hearing about which episodes are your favorite. And so this week's reviewer of the week is Sierra Saratoga. Sierra says, "What a thoughtful and well-curated collection. A must-listen podcast for those with a growth mindset." She titled it Women Supporting Women, and that's really the name of the game over here. I am a woman that is very passionate about living her life and growing a business with the goal of showing you guys what is possible. And every time I think of something new that I want to offer or something new that I want to do that I haven't done yet, I just think, how cool if I do this, then my clients will get to see the exact way that they could do it too, or be inspired to find a new route there. So thank you, Sierra. I am here supporting you, and I appreciate you supporting me through the review on the podcast. It just means the world to me. Okay, sometimes we need a shake up, something to shock us into remembering that this is our one life. Last week, I wrote an email recalling a time I almost got hit by the T of the above ground tram in Boston, which put me inches from death. I was 19. I am now 35, and that's almost double the age that could have been my last age. And I've made those years really count. I like to think about death, actually. It sounds really morbid, but I believe there's real value in it. And I'm going to invite you to tune your whole body into what I'm saying here. Death is a certainty. We don't get a redo, or at least we don't know that we do. Okay, so for this purposes of this podcast, let's assume that we don't. What are you doing right now that is making you feel alive? I don't mean escaping into a thrilling fantasy novel or feeling high after consuming an inspirational podcast even. I mean, how are you putting yourself out there? This isn't a dress rehearsal. You're never going to be as young as you are in this very moment. And there are 1,000 cliche ways for me to say the same thing, but I'll say them all if the 1,000th one is the one that wakes you the fuck up. Okay? I want you to do something a little ridiculous right now. I want you to go to the mirror. If you're in the car, you can stare into the rear view. If you're in the shower, I want you to just pull back the curtain, look at your mirror in there, and say, it is time to stop playing small. It's time to stop slacking or hustling and make big, scary move. It's time to put yourself in a room with the big kids. It's time to share your story on a big stage. Tell yourself into the mirror, my ideas are genius. I am made for a big life, and it is about time I start proving how deeply I believe in us. Let's freaking go. Okay, you guys, that is your hype sesh. That's your hype. I hope you're feeling hype. And with that, we are going to dive into a very personal, but also what I hope will be a very actionable episode for you. Sometimes this show is very actionable. Sometimes I'm giving you guys assignments like in today's hype sesh or last week's 24 non-monthly things to add to your budget. I hope you guys all did that. And if you haven't yet, go back and listen to that episode. If you're brand new here, welcome. Sometimes I give you frameworks like in the episode 3 Phases of People Pleasing or Failure Collection. Sometimes I teach you tools like the self-coaching model, but I don't want you getting lost in the sauce, in the details, in the doing. The quality of your life and the quality of your business will never exceed the quality of the questions that you're asking yourself. And that's why every few episodes, I want to bring you what we call an HQQ on this show, a high quality question. These are questions that have shaped my business, that have prompted really big leaps in coaching sessions with my clients, and that will jolt your brain so that you never think about things quite the same again. So here is your HQQ of the day. What if your current life, even if it feels great, is just good on a scale of your big, amazing life? And what would it look like if it were next level great? Sometimes I get pushback on this question. Some people interpret it as greedy, but that's a misunderstanding of the point. This is not about looking for reasons to be dissatisfied with your current life or your current business. On the contrary, high quality questions should reinforce you celebrating where you're at while you're working towards where you're going. Because the kind of great life and business that we're talking about, it's not an achievable destination. It's an ongoing evolution, an infinite pursuit. And it requires that you stop numbing and mentally checking out or going on autopilot. This week, I was selected out of tons of applicants to be a panelist at Empower Her Live conference in Denver. It's going to be a live podcast recording in front of 800 people for Keisha Get Mary's Empower Her podcast. That's a show that has 8.5 million downloads. And I've been a longtime listener of the show, and this moment still feels a little bit surreal to me. And guess what? The panel topic is taking your life or your business from good to great. And when I saw that she was accepting speaker applicants, I felt like I had to take off my sweater, and I wasn't wearing a sweater. You know that feeling, right? I felt like, ooh, like, oh man, this really does make me uncomfortable to apply to this. And I also felt like, damn, that's me. I was terrified, and that's how I knew I needed to apply. Similar to January 2020, when I wrote an email to the Life Coach School explaining how I'd use their program scholars to take my life from good to great. And a month later, I was asked by the legend CEO, Brooke Castillo, okay, let's be honest, it was her assistant, to come on the show on a panel then that she entitled How to Do Well. I'm telling you this because I did the same thing to secure both dream guest speaking podcast spots for myself. And I always wished when I was trying to figure this out, especially in the beginning, that someone would share with me exactly how they made their big moves happen. It's so easy once you're further along in your business to be like, yeah, just, have confidence and go for it. It's like, okay, but the how, with the how, we want the how, right? And I talk a lot about how you don't get the how until you are in the process of taking that action. And that is definitely true. But when I can share with you something actionable that's worked, not just once, but twice, and not just in a seasoned audience that I had been in there with for a while, but in one that I was kind of brand new to, I need to share it with you. And I'm always going to be pulling back the curtain in my own business to share with you how I am taking my business as I'm taking it to those next levels. And so I hope if you're new to this show, you can come here and you can listen to these episodes and really see how at all phases of business, there are parts of our business that we just have no idea how we're going to take ourselves to that next level. We can create plans, we can do the things that we know work, but there's always going to be a part of that good to great journey that is a question mark. It's a blank that hasn't been filled in yet. So let's fill them in all the way we know all the ways we know how, using what I teach as failure collection, right? It's where we're not just trying one way. We're not just trying two ways. We're willing to fail in 98 ways so that two of them take us to that next level. My strategy from going from good to great is threefold. Number one, each year I write myself a letter to myself. And you can see these episodes entitled A Letter to Yourself on the podcast. I've done several of them. I share my own letters on the show, and I do a workshop every year. And so make sure around the time of the new year, or again, you're not going to think of this when we're getting to December. So make sure right now you go and get on my email list by going to sincerelyfutureyou.com so you can be notified when that workshop comes up, because this is some powerful shit, my friend. This strategy has been so successful, it inspired this show's title, right? Sincerely Future You. This letter to myself is about choosing my goals from the year, but I write the letter from the perspective of having already done the goal, right? And this is the obvious part, the goal setting. Goals, they help us stay attuned to our next level great in both business and in our life. We set them once, we write them down regularly, and then we create plans from them. We visualize them. We zone the fuck in. Okay. Part 2 of this good to great plan is committing to the long game and then taking small daily action when no one's looking. Your business isn't built in the launches or in the individual consults or events, and neither is your life. I may want to lose 5 pounds. That might be the goal, but I want to be a peak physical athlete more. I may want to sell out this current offer, but I want to be a world-renowned coach more. Notice the difference. The goals are just to give you a lens to push yourself in the day-to-day. Hitting those short-term goals isn't the point, though. Who cares if you've gained a pound in your journey towards losing 10 pounds? Who cares if you have a $0 month when you're committing to show up however long it takes? Your greatness is inevitable. And I want you to zoom out, create the plan, and then make sure that you are committed to being in this until you meet that future you who's already done it, no matter what. And then step 3, finally, you have to put yourself out there. A throw up level commitment or an ask can launch you to that next level. Get the eyeballs on you. Submit yourself to as many opportunities as you can. And then don't get attached to any one opportunity. I applied to this good to great panel, but if this one didn't work out, I was going to find another one to apply to, right? It's like when people say, oh, you're so lucky, and even whatever, I'm not sensitive about that word. I do believe in a lot of ways I am lucky, I am privileged. But one thing that luck definitely doesn't account for is this part where you're putting yourself out there. It's not luck when you are continuously putting yourself out there, regardless of how many no's you hear, regardless of how many times it doesn't work out, right? So I can assure you that the people who are really at the top that you're looking up to, they have been at the bottom. They have been told no more times than you can count. And you are just seeing the yes. You're just seeing the one yes, or the byproduct of who they were on the other side of that 100th try that ended up being a yes, or 1,000th try, or a 10,000th try. And how many tries are you willing to commit to, right? So if you aren't attached to any one opportunity and you just keep growing and learning and asking, eventually your efforts will be seen. When you believe this, you'll keep showing up. And when you keep showing up, you go from good to great. And people, they start to notice. Here, I wanted to share with you on this actual episode my most recent submission for why I should be selected as a good to great panelist. I wanted to share with you exactly what I said. It's an amended and updated version of the email that I wrote 3 years previously to be selected for that Life Coach School podcast. And I don't know why more successful business owners don't share these behind the scenes things, because while you're right, it doesn't matter exactly what words I use. What I think does matter, and why I wanted to share it here today, is the beliefs that I had and the thoughts that I was thinking when I wrote this letter. And what I was thinking about myself, about this opportunity, about my offer, about the world, about what is a good life and what is a great life, that those beliefs, they read through. Like they could tell the people that were selecting the panel on both sides, they could tell that I really believed it. And you can't fake that, right? Okay. So I want you to see through this letter what thoughts I allowed myself to believe in order to take my life from good to great, and to then believe that I was worthy of teaching other people how to do the same thing. Okay. I said, to say my life has gone from good to great in the last few years would be the understatement of the century. But to the outside world, the start of the road to great probably just looked like me burning my life to the ground. In 2019, I made the decision to separate from my husband, a man who I knew I loved, but wasn't the life partner for my great life, nor I for his. Everything about my life was actually good, which is why I get why people settle for good. I took on single parenting to our then 18-month-old boy. I had mere months to triple my income to pay for my expensive apartment in New York or be evicted. Everyone in my life told me I should sideline my life coaching business, which that previous year had only made $6,000. But I just knew it was where I should be. My thoughts were scattered and in scarcity around money, time, and definitely in love. Well, not only did I 7x my income that year and more than double it the following year, but I had fun doing it. I had the audacity to actually feel relaxed, despite everyone telling me that my circumstances warranted stress, concern, and my favorite, being practical and realistic. Barf. I maintained my health. I grew my business from $6,000 a year to multiple six figures. I got certified at the pricey life coach school, the school I'd only dreamed of affording, and I paid for it in cash. Then I ended up on her multi-million listener podcast to tell the story. I became more generous in that phase of my life and connected to my community. I started a nonprofit supporting women business owners going through personal issues or wanting to set up maternity leave who can't afford to leave as the owner. I attracted the most amazing life partner, which the fact that I left this till later is just a disservice, because this is one of my greatest accomplishments in my life, that through all of that, I was able to believe again that I was worthy of a really big and great love. And that life partner who I then married and bought a house with and gave birth to our daughter. I'm doing all of this as an example for my son and other divorced moms who are fed the story that they don't have the luxury of chasing their dreams. That good life feels so distant that I forget that it was only 4 years ago. The goals I wrote down happened so swiftly and exactly that I actually ran out of dreams. And applying to this panel is me pursuing Good to Great 2.0. I would be honored to be on the panel and help anyone who connects with my story see their own inevitable great life in mine. All right, party people. I've officially already received verbal all-in commitment from the exact number of women that will be selected for the September class of the Masterful CEO School before it's ruled sold out. Oh my gosh, so fun. And that doesn't even include you lurkers listening to this show. So that means that we will be creating an application this round. Last round did end up selling out, and I predict that this round may actually sell out in pre-enrollment, which is July 10th to the 14th. So you're going to want to make sure that you mark your calendar and get on the wait list. The link to get on that wait list is at sincerelyfutureyou.com, as well as you can connect with me on Instagram at Jess McKinley Wayno. That's JESS McKinley, McKinley, Wayno, UYENO. And over there, you can go to the link in my bio and get on the wait list, because we are about 1 week away when you're listening to this, to open pre-enrollment. For those of you who are new to the show, welcome. And what even is the Masterful CEO School? This is my 6-month advanced group coaching program. This round, we're raising the requirements for joining to make sure that everyone has the basic skills of selling and delivering their product and service down. It becomes a more advanced room every round, and this round is going to be no different. This room is right for you if you've earned a minimum of $15K in your business, although we also do have a few 7-figure earners as well. So if that's you, don't worry, this room is still of an advanced caliber. If you're ready to create systems, policies, clean up your finances, and create a process for attacking your goals, this room is absolutely for you. If you're ready to increase your revenue and decrease the amount of hours you spend in your business, this room is for you. If you're ready to become an advanced decision maker with more calm and control and fun in your day-to-day, this room is so for you. Most of all, this is for you if you're seeking a room full of ambitious, vulnerable, generous, up-leveling women business owners to surround yourself with as you take things to the next level. We meet weekly, sometimes bi-weekly for 6 months, and coach you through the thoughts that are just dragging you down, because your success is simply a math equation minus your drama. The Masterful CEO School is $6K, and it can be paid in 3 different ways, including, for the first time ever, drumroll, pre-enrollment only in 12 installments of $500 a month, which I have never offered before. And it will only be for this pre-enrollment to really just make it more equitable for that woman who knows she's like on the fringe of that next level up kick. And she's just like, oh, I just need to be able to have access to it. I see you. I've been there before. Remember, if you come and you're committed to getting the results that you want, I have a money back guarantee, but I want you to guarantee this for yourself. Decide from your future self, have a chat with her. Like, it's done. We've done it. We did it. I'm just coming and doing the work so that I can come and meet you and get to know you better, right? This room is high level, and these women are high level. You are high level, and we cannot wait to meet you. Whether your life feels hard, mediocre, good, or great, this process is available to you. Good isn't a fact, it's a story. But the pursuit of greatness is always bound to bring the best out of you and connect you to your life in a way that will literally bring you to tears, in the way that I was almost brought to tears just recording this episode. I hope that this episode lit you up, girlfriend, because I believe in your future self. I believe in your great life so deeply, in a palpable and tangible way. And I know that you don't need anything that you don't already have to create it. Here's your reminder that we have a goal of 60 podcast reviews by the June 30th. And I really want to hear from you specifically. Did you love this episode? Share it with a friend. DM me on Instagram. Set up a 20-minute call with me, which you can do by going to my website or on Instagram. And of course, leave this in a lovely review on Apple or Spotify, and I will shout you out right here on the show. So much love from me, yes, but also sincerely, future you.
Hey Hapsters, if you want to learn more about today's topic, head over to whatshappening.com/podcast. That's what's happening, whatshappening.com/podcast. If you're a business owner and you're resonating with what we talk about here, what are you even doing? Come hang out with me over where the party's at on Instagram at What's Happening WJess. Again, that's happy, HAPPYNING, and book a discovery call to see if coaching is your next best step.